Monster Melee! Elmar versus Dire Wolves.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to another Monster Melee. This one is a bit different. This is the first time we are revisiting someone from a previous fight. That's right, Elmar and the surviving guardsmen who dwell in the town of Fjarlstead, which is now basically a ruin after being attacked by giants. If you have not yet watched the Monster Melee Town Guards versus Etten, pause this, go watch that one first. It's going to give you a good context, and then come back to this one here. So for this matchup, we have Elmar, who now has one level of fighter on top of his guard statistics, along with the other surviving 5 town guards, versus 2 dire wolves. The battle arena continues with the ruins of Mawa Alta, though it's the snow version, so I'm actually considering it the ruins of Fjarlstead. And as always, the map comes from my Patreon page, that is Esper the Bard on Patreon. The link is down in the video description. Go check that out, show some support. There are monthly rewards that I release, maps, newsletters, drawings that I do amongst the supporters. There's even a free version that you can sign on to. All of it helps, and it, of course, motivates me and gives me more ability to do crazy things like the Monster Melee series. And as always, I am your game master and commentator, Esper. So looking here at today's competitors, we have these 5 town guards, and then Elmar, who's the guard plus a level of fighter. So one of the guards, just to give the baseline context, is a medium humanoid, could be any race, could be any alignment, look like they're humans in this case. Challenge rating 1/8, very weak. AC of 16, which is pretty good for a challenge rating 1/8. Hit points of 11, and just a standard speed of 30 feet. Strengths-wise, really I would just say the AC being pretty good as their only strength. And weaknesses, yeah, low hit points, low attack, low damage. And then for Elmar, he has gained the variant human racial traits, and I've also given him a +2 to 1 ability score and a +1 to 1 ability score. I'll show all of his statistics here on the screen. And so he got a first level of fighter added onto his guard statistics. He's also was given a proper suit of mail and a sturdy sword, taken from the town's best warrior, who sadly fell in combat with an Etten. So here we go. Elmar is a medium humanoid human. I've also given him the fighter tag. I don't really know what his alignment is, so let's just put neutral on there for starters. I'm estimating his challenge rating is now a 2. His AC is an amazing 19, because he's got chainmail, he's got a shield, and of course he took the defensive fighting style, or the defense fighting style for the fighter class feature. I think it's only appropriate considering that he blocked all of those Etten attacks. He seems like he's a very hardy survivor. His hit points now are up to 25. So for his strengths, he's got a really high AC. He's got the heavy armor master feat. That's going to subtract 3 off of just like non-magic weapon damage, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. That's not magic. He's got a good strength score. He's also got a second wind once per short rest. It's a bonus action to regain some hit points. Weaknesses, he's got like mediocre mental abilities, and he's not really very effective at a long range. All right, going over to the dire wolves. There are 2 of them. They are large beasts. They are unaligned, each with a challenge rating of 1. An armor class of 14, 37 hit points, and a speed of 50 feet. For their strengths, they have a good strength score. They are fast. 50 feet is well above a human. They have a keen hearing and smell that gives them advantage on perception checks when they're, listening for or sniffing out the target. They have that really good pack tactics trait that says whenever the dire wolf attacks, if the target is next to one of the wolf's allies, it gets advantage on the attack automatically. Its bite does a pretty good amount of damage and can potentially trip the target and knock it prone. Weaknesses, they have extremely low intelligence, they have low charisma, and they have no ranged attack whatsoever. So we revisit here the ruins of Fjarlstead, a hinterlands town in the wake of an onslaught of giants. The defense of the settlement came down to this final squad of guardsmen who managed to repel the last Etten. All that's left of the life they once knew is a few standing buildings and a group of surviving townsfolk. A new threat has appeared. Dire wolves have begun scavenging the dead throughout Fjarlstead. Their howling is heard frequently. Elmar and his people have been taking shelter in this central fort that still stands, but they are running low on food and in need of many other supplies. Those accursed wolves are at it again. Haven't they had their fill? Shouldn't they have left by now? They never have their fill. Might be they've established a new den here. We must go out there. Better to face the beasts than cower in here, starving to death. Let's give it one more day, maybe they'll move on. Piss on that. I can't take those bloody howls any longer. I can't take being cramped up in here, waiting around like cravens. I'm going out there to claim as many wolf pelts as I can. Anyone who still has a pair of stones, come and join me. Elmar and his 5 companions unbar the heavy door and head out into the snow. They grip their weapons tightly, and after a moment of searching about, snarling dire wolves appear. All right, Dan, let's go for the initiative roll and get this fight started. It looks like we are beginning with Hans.
Yeah, I see them.
And we've got the same setup as before, the same gear. Hans throws one of his spears. Is that in the long range? Let's check that out. Yes, most definitely. The spear actually only has a 20-60 range. So let's do a disadvantage roll. He's got like +3. It is a miss. His spear sails and smacks against a rock or a bush, and he jogs over there and takes some cover. We go to Izak, the youngest of the group, who will do a similar tactic. He'll move a bit, throw a spear, and then continue moving to take cover, probably behind Hans. Nat 6 is not going to do it. And we now go to Direwolf number 2. A drooling, slavering, howling thing. Looks like it's going to be... I think what it's going to do, it will come to there and like padding, stalking closer, snarling, maybe dodge, still sizing up these soldiers. It doesn't quite know what it's in for. So let's say the Direwolf 2 is using dodge. Ralph bravely grips his spear. Fjarlstead shall not be terrorized by you any longer. And he stabs at the Direwolf, disadvantage for the dodge. That is a miss. And then Direwolf 1 will come snarling in here. Can't quite get in. So let's say it's going to be doing a dash to be setting up their encircling wolf formation. Alexander is going to throw. He'll actually throw at wolf number 1. He'll throw one of his spears. Oh my gosh, we are not getting very good rolls for the guardsmen. This is not a good sign. Are you with me? Elmar's gritting his teeth, gripping onto his longsword. Alexander draws his second spear, but does not fall back. He wants to stay by Elmar's side. Stephen is pretty much already in the thick of it, so he'll just take one step and then make an attack there at the dire wolf. Oh no, they are not rolling well at all. We come to the end of the round. Elmar's last in initiative. Let's see what he can do. He bravely hefts his longsword. He's got like a +5 to hit, and he also rolls. Look at this, nat 7, nat 7, nat 7. So the first round was pretty well terrible for the guardsmen. We go to Hans. Hans, we need you! Elmar shouts through gritted teeth. So Hans will not be a craven. He's got some brave Napernian blood in him, some rather large stones. He stabs with his spear and gets a natural 1. And lets out, unfortunately, a little utter of fear. Izak is going to, I think he's going to stay back. He's going to stay back throwing spears. He'll go ahead and throw a spear at Direwolf 1. Since it is a large size, I'll go ahead and say it does not have the half cover. He wants to get within the short range, though, so he'll need to move a bit, and then he'll move a bit more. I might have actually moved him a little bit too much, but that's okay. I'll correct it here in just a second. And a roll is nat 2. Guys, I guess these defenders of Fjarlstead really are just doomed. This was not meant to be. Direwolf 2 will go ahead and attack Ralph. It's going to have advantage on its attack from the pack tactics, and it's got like a +5 to hit. That will certainly do it. And the Direwolf deals 11 damage and tears off Ralph's arm right at the shoulder. He falls to the ground, his blood painting the snow red. So that was going to be his turn, and now it's not. Oh, I suppose the wolf will continue stalking and encircling along with its ally. All right, Direwolf 1 is going to strike at Elmar. Advantage on the attack for the pack tactics. Comes up with a 21 to hit. That is enough to hit our dear Elmar. 7 damage, but Heavy Armor Master will reduce that to only 4 damage. His hit points go down to 21. No! Alexander runs over here, seeing his ally Ralph having been taken down like that, and he will strike with his spear. Finally, someone gets an attack that can hit, and he deals 7 damage to the first dire wolf. It goes from 37 to 30. Moving along, Steven swings his weapon. Nat 10, 13, a narrow miss, just misses by 1, repelled by the thick fur and the hide of the dire wolf. And we go to Elmar now, who will attack with his longsword. Nat 16, that's going to do it. Elmar comes up with 6 damage. Not terrible, not amazing, but that'll do. And putting some more damage onto the dire wolf. Moving on to round 3, Hans. He will make his attack against that same dire wolf. They're going to try to take this one down first before they move to the next. That will do it. And his spear comes up with 4 damage. All right, a glimmer of hope now. Izak. All right, Izak actually needs to get in there and recover a spear. Or actually, we'll say he that's fine. He has his mace. There were plenty of spears left over after the last fight, but he is down to melee now. So he comes in with his mace. Yeah, that's fine. That's within 5 feet. Yeah, he's not more than 5 feet away from that one. Okay, so Izak will make his attack. Swings his mace. Finally, the tides are turning for the soldiers. They're starting to hit, and he clubs Direwolf number 1 for a mere 2 points of damage. Direwolf 2 will bite at Elmar. Attack has advantage from the pack tactics, and 22 is certainly going to be a hit. And he deals 9 minus 3 from the Heavy Armor Master. 6 damage to Elmar. And Elmar needs to make a DC 13 strength saving throw. Nat 11 plus 5. He stays on his feet and is not dragged to the ground. And then Direwolf 1 also will attack Elmar. The wolves as well, trying to take down one target, maybe drag him away for a meal. That is a hit. Elmar has a great AC, but these wolves just keep rolling really nice. Also, the advantage on the attack certainly helps. 13 damage. Heavy Armor Master is going to reduce that down to 10. Elmar is very wounded, and let's see what he can do on a strength saving throw. All right, good enough. He holds fast to his feet. It is Alexander's turn. No, Elmar, we can't lose you. He attacks Dire Wolf. That is a 12 to hit, not going to be good enough. And we go to Steven. His spear thrusts out, missing by a mere 1. We go to Elmar's turn. He is going to use Second Wind because he really needs the hit points. This is D10 plus 1. He regains 5. So Elmar is at 10 out of 25, and that is not great. I'm wondering if he should actually dodge, or should he continue with the fight? Elmar is already bleeding a bit, starting to breathe heavy. He grits his teeth, and he hefts his blade against the dire wolf. Elmar swings. 19 is going to hit, and he's got 8 damage. A pretty solid hit. The dire wolf goes down to 10 hit points. Hold, men! Hold! He's hoping to rally his allies. We're going into round 4 here. Hans. Come on, Hans, we need you. Hans the Napoleon. Cold blood. Oh, his cold blood is maybe too chilled. And he shakily gets a natural 1. We go to Izak, who will make his attack. He swings his mace. He's the one that battered through the Etten at the end of the last fight. 16 will do it. He cracks the dire wolf for 4 damage. It goes down to a mere 6. It's nearly down, men! Hold! Izak, nearly soiling himself with terror. Direwolf 2 focuses on Elmar. He's tasted Elmar's blood. He attacks with advantage. Oh my gosh, a 22 again. These wolves they're just biting Elmar left and right. 8 minus 3 is going to be 5. Elmar's almost down. All right, our hero is at a mere 5 hit points with the other direwolf attacking with advantage. I guess I need to make Elmar's strength saving throw. Don't want to forget that. It might not actually even matter in this specific moment, but I should make it nonetheless. Well, there's a nat 17. That's good. Okay. Direwolf 1 attacks with advantage from the pack tactics. 15. Elmar's shield repels the fangs of the wolf. Back! And he has survived another round. Alexander thrusts his spear at the direwolf to the north. Oh, nat 14. That is going to be good. See how much damage he can do. Can he take it down? There's 5 damage. It almost falls over, but barely keeps itself up. At the last moment, Stefan will attack, hoping to seize this opportunity and slay the creature. And Stefan, I guess it doesn't matter what he rolls. He has slain Direwolf 1. One of the wolves is defeated. It yelps and falls bleeding to the ground.
One more to go, men.
The other men are saying, "Fall back, Elmar! We have you, Elmar! We have you!"
I will not give up!
Elmar refuses stubbornly. He swings his longsword. The blade, repelled by the hide of the dire wolf. Hans steps here, stabs out with his spear. A natural 2, not gonna do it. Isaac, the youngest of the group, swings his mace. 12 isn't going to do it either. The direwolf has tasted the blood of Elmar, and he wants more. There is no advantage this time, though. No more pack tactics. But a nat 16 is good enough. Oh, Elmar, he should probably be going down here. Elmar takes 11 damage. He falls to the ground. All right, Elmar is prone and dying. He is bleeding from a number of direwolf bites. Alexander attacks. Lands a spear hit, gets in 4 points of damage on the direwolf. That's the first damage on the thing, but it's a start. Stefan steps in there, stabs out. Nat 19, excellent. Gets in for, oh my gosh, minimum damage, just 2. Direwolf still has 31. Elmar makes a death saving throw. 15, that'll be 1 success for him. Hans attacks. Oh, misses by 1. We go now to Isaac. Swings the mace. The iron phalanges as well. Miss by 1. The thick, shaggy fur of this tundra direwolf is not having it. The wolf then turns to Isaac, who I believe has already soiled himself, and now even more so. Ah! The wolf batters against Isaac's shield and does not find purchase with its teeth. Alexander. Come on, Alexander. Alexander's spear strikes true. Direwolf takes again minimum damage. Just 2. Alright, this is still anyone's battle. Steven swings. I guess I shouldn't say swings, but stabs rather. That is a hit. So we can do more than minimum damage. This is still minimum damage. Another measly 2 damage to the direwolf. Elmar makes another death saving throw. 4 is a failure. He's got 1 success and 1 failure. Hans, attack. Critical hit. First critical hit of the fight. Well done, Hans the Napernian. Die, beast! 8 damage. Now we're finally starting to see some noticeable damage, some noticeable wounds on the direwolf. Isaac swings his mace and connects. Ends up dealing maximum damage, 7 to the direwolf. We got the direwolf's turn. I think it had his eyes focused on Isaac there. And 17 is going to be good enough. Isaac is taking 9 damage. A vicious bite. He's not dead, but he is greatly wounded down to just 2 hit points. Moving along, we go to Alexander. Makes his attack. Longtime ally of Elmar. Hates to see his ally lying there on the ground, bleeding. Elmar, no! Terror, nerves, franticness. His attack misses. Steven, with a scarred face. He has seen many battles. He can't land his hit as well. The height of the wolf is too much for that one. Elmar's making another death saving throw. A natural 1, my friends. Elmar has passed away, died of his wounds, bled out there in the frigid snow.
Heidi, I go to see you now. Graf, carry my spirit forth.
No! His allies wail. Elmar gives up the ghost. Hans shouts a foul Napernian curse at the direwolf. Stabs with his spear. Manages to land the blow. Minimum damage, though, just another 2 to the dire wolf, though it is down to 10. Izak is rather terrified. Actually, I'm going to roll like a morale check for Izak. We'll use this d20 for like a wisdom saving throw. 13. We'll say that's exactly what I needed, because 13 is like the DC for the dire wolf's like trip. It's like its, you know, its main DC, we could say. So Isaac barely holds up his morale despite his wounds, and he is not going to disengage and flee. He is going to attack once more with his weapon. Gets a natural 19, bashes the dire wolf over the head, 5 damage to it, and it is down to a mere 5. The dire wolf will disengage, and it will run. It's got 50 feet of speed, so it actually goes pretty far, padding out there into the snow. I moved it a bit too far, but that's okay. We'll just remember that it has moved. Alexander picks up one of the spears from the ground, throws it at the direwolf. It's going to be in long range. Disadvantage. Natural 1 isn't happening. We go to Steven. He'll do the same. Can he get into short range? Yes, I believe he can. All right, Steven throws his spear at the fleeing dire wolf. Gets a natural 19. It's going to be d6 plus 1 damage. Max damage, 7. The spear stabs right through the haunch of the fleeing direwolf. And the thing lets out a lupine yelp. And the direwolf hits the ground with a flurry of frost and a spattering of its blood. Flicking upon the ground and upon the cracked and rubbled stone from where some giant's boulder had smashed through a wall. Men, Elmar has fallen. Ralph has as well. But the wolves that have been prowling about the ruins of Fjarlstead have been defeated. They gather around and prepare to say their goodbyes to their dear brother-in-arms, Elmar the Brave. Thank you for watching, everyone. Bit of a tragic end there, but still a hero's death for Elmar. He died bravely and doing what he was best at, which was fending off foes that were probably too powerful for him to realistically deal with. So let's raise our cups and toast a beer or a mead to the spirit of Elmar the Brave. So we'll wrap this one up here. I look forward to seeing you all in another video sometime soon. An extra special thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon. You guys put extra fuel on my fire and make it possible for me to make as many of these videos as I actually do. As always, may your adventures be many.